To love and to be loved. Nothing like it. And you all know the difference. You see, we have friends, people who think of us before we think of them. People who you can count on. We all have people who beat you to the punch. They call you and you say, I was just thinking of you. Some people, you've got your birthday cake and birthday card before your birthday. They're already planning. They're already preparing. There are people who just don't give you an opportunity to ask, because they're already thinking, what can they do for you? Isn't that interesting? Love. It beats you to the punch. It cuts you off at the road. They finish your conversation before you can. They already know where you're going. Somehow or another already know what you're thinking. That look where you can read their face without them saying a word. Because that person is so in tune to you. They're so in tune. You're that way with your dog mostly, aren't you? You dog lovers. Oh, I can read my dog's mind. I can look at their eyes and tell exactly what they need and want. Love is special. And you know that they are thinking about you. Because you haven't called them, visited them, but they're sending you mail, cards and letters. They make plans. They invite you to dinner. They say, let's go get coffee. Would you like to have lunch? No, you've ignored them. Put them off. Say you can't, but you never mention a dime when you can. Not today, but you don't offer tomorrow. Not this week, but you don't say, what about Thursday of next week? No. That's not love. And it's obvious. But love is just that way. And how do we know that? Well, you see it in the movies all the time. There was a movie I saw. The man was absolutely ruthless. And the woman would constantly ask him, do you love me? Every now and then they'd get into a little spat and she needed to be assured. Because why? She was in it because she did love him. But she saw something that made her doubt. Your actions are not the actions of somebody that loves me. You can tell people, you can tell the ones that love you. They don't threaten you. They don't say, well, that's it. I'm only going to give you half a steak tonight for dinner now. You've seen those nasty women that do that. And they toss the plate on the table in front of their husband. There's no love in that. They didn't make that big breakfast they normally made because they're pissed. If they make breakfast at all, they may stop making breakfast for you entirely. You see, love doesn't do that. Love doesn't look for an opportunity or reason to be less or do less or act less. That's not love. Now you know you've got a problem. Now you know you've got somebody who's ruthless. They're either hateful, they're either jealous, or they're just plain crazy. She knew that because I think her love was more about her pity for him. She felt sorry for him. And she said she had hoped, because he was surprised when he was wanting to leave her. He thought for sure he was going to crush her. There's something about people that don't love you. They take joy in sabotaging you or crushing you. That's evil. And she looked at him. She goes, oh no, I knew who you were. I knew exactly what your problem was. My hope was that in loving you, you would have a transformation. That if someone loved you purely, but you see the Lord already talked about that, didn't he? It doesn't matter if someone would rise from the grave and go preach to you. You are not going to repent. You're just that evil. They have the prophets. Let them hear the prophets that are preaching to them. See, the man thought, well, if I get up from the grave and they see me come alive, I can warn them. We were wrong. No, that won't change them. And unfortunately, as the Joker or as a comment was made in that movie, Batman, some people just love to see things burn. There are people, regardless of you liberals who think differently, that are just born determined for evil. And you know that because you know the ones you've done wrong to who are not determined for evil. And you ever ask yourself, why do I have such an ease with evil, treating a righteous person terribly? Something's got a hold of you that is ungodly and demonic. And you can figure out when it started, or was it just born that way? As the LGBTQ community likes to say, were you just born psychotic, neurotic? Or did something occur in your childhood, some trauma or drama in your life, to turn you to be a tool of evil rather than an instrument of grace and God's work? You see, there are prisoners that no matter how much mercy or grace you give them, they continue wreaking havoc in the community. No matter how much rehab, it doesn't matter. There are just people that way. And there are people you can give the smallest grace to. They think they've won the lottery. There's evil in this world. You should know that. Didn't you see what Hitler did? Stalin? And then there's that evil that justifies itself. Experimenting on your own soldiers with LSD and drugs in the name of fighting your enemy. Well, we have to see how it works. We must experiment. Unknowing, unwilling people who you only tell half the truth to when you're killing them and giving them cancer and syphilis and all kinds of other ailments and diseases. When you poison their water and their city while you build your factory for the sake of industry and money. Murderers. When you put things in their food to cause mental illness. Murderers. when you overcharge them, tack on fees and taxes to burden them, and lay them down their lives murderers. They come in all forms and all shape, evil. But to those that love and truly love, you will be the ones that receive the reward and the crown of life. Fret not thyself because of evildoers. In due time, their judgment comes.